In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the driver's side inner tie rod on this Ford E-350. This is what connects your outer tie rod and the sleeve to the drag link. You do need an alignment after this job is done. Keep that in mind. Let's get started. We have to loosen up the adjustment sleeve first. Now typically it'll be a 15mm socket. However, in this case, this being a different sleeve, I'm going to have to use an 18 and an 18. You don't have to completely remove these bolts, you just have to loosen them up. On the other end, you'll see a castle nut with a cotter pin. I already sprayed this down with some rust penetrant to hopefully help with the rust. Regardless, remove the cotter pin. I'm going to use some cutters to try to get it out of here. Cutters help you grab onto it to remove it. You don't want to reuse this, so discard it at this point. We're going to install a new one. Now use a 21mm socket and remove this mounting nut. I'm going to put the nut back just a few turns. That way it'll hold this on, and I can also use this as a flat surface to hammer on. Hopefully the impact of the hammer going this way will want to break this stud free from the drag link. Use a large hammer, give it a few taps. That popped off, so now remove the mounting nut. Sometimes it gets stuck, so you'll have to put your tool back on here and break it free. What you want to do now is unthread this from the sleeve, but count the amount of turns it takes to unthread it so we can put it back the same amount of turns. Also, make sure that this is coming out of the sleeve, not the sleeve out of the outer tie rod. So whether that means holding it or sticking a pry bar right here to help with some leverage. Tap a pry bar into the slot. This will not only allow you to hold it, but it'll also spread it apart a little bit. And there it is. Before putting the new tie rod in, I highly recommend some grease or anti-seize on these threads over here, as well as inside the sleeve. This is going to not only help the tie rod slide in a lot smoother and thread in, but also the alignment professional, as the alignment is being done after the repair, and overall long-term rust prevention. Now thread this in the same amount of turns it took to remove it, so you can get close to a good alignment. Once again, you still need to get it aligned, but this will get you close so your wheels aren't completely towed out or towed in. Once you got your tie rods situated properly, you can remove this pry bar that you had here temporarily. Reinstall the driver's side inner tie rod into the drag link. There we go. Put the mounting nut on. Let's bottom this out and then torque it to 66 foot-pounds. The new mounting nut is going to be a 22mm, no longer a 21. That's torqued, but this being a castle nut, we have to make sure the slots line up. For me, they actually happen to line up perfectly. For you, if they don't, continue tightening until you get to the next slot so you can line it up. Never loosen these. Stick your cotter pin in, bend it over to lock it in. Make sure it's not going to poke the radiator hose in any way as this moves left and right. And of course, make sure it's locked in. If you leave this a little bit loose like this and has some wiggle room, it's a lot less likely to seize up. Just a little tip for you. It's time to tighten up this sleeve, and you want to make sure that both ball and socket joints on the tie rods are flat, parallel with where they mount, not at an angle. So if that's the case, move the tie rod around. Now is the time until it's nice and even. And then of course the alignment professional will do the rest of the adjustment here. The torque for these is going to be 41 foot-pounds. Hold the bolt just in case it wants to spin. All right, those are tight.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.